Chris Charlton for where-to-go-poop.com, and this is 2K Drive, which certainly seems like a game on the face of it that's not worth talking about. I mean, 2K didn't even come up with a name that wasn't just remarkably generic. But it's actually worth talking about for a couple of reasons. First, this was planned as a free-to-play game, and even soft-launched as a free-to-play game on iOS, before it received such vilification for its model that it's now changed to a premium experience. This costs 600 yen in Japan, so think about it, $7 in the US, and God, even that slogan's super generic. But the other reason that it's really interesting is that this is actually developed by some people who were ex-Bizarre Creations, the Project Gotham Racing people. And I have such a love for that development team. I mean, Project Gotham Racing 2 was the game that basically cost me a decent university degree. Yeah, I've got plenty of love for Project Gotham Racing. So yeah, now they're making a racing game for an iPhone. It's something that I had to check out. So this is 2K Drive. Now, here's the first thing. This kind of brings to mind going from a freemium model to a premium app was what happened a couple of months ago with a game called Breach and Clear, and you can see the video I made on that. And I said at the time, the sudden switching to a premium model, it kind of felt that the entire game still had that those freemium clause in it, even though they weren't necessary, and it added up to a really bad kind of experience, especially from the UI standpoint and the front end. And this is a terrible front end. First of all, listen. Do you smell something? There's no menu music in this game at all, which just seems really low rent and weird. And then each of these sort of Xbox Live style Windows 8 kind of tabs here have really low grade, low res screenshots on them, even on the smaller screen. It's a really bizarre front end. It constantly reminds you of your XP and how many stars you have earned and how many coins you have earned, but you can buy those. We'll go more into that later on. And the actual menu is if I click that little icon in the top left, and that brings us up to championship, multiplayer challenges, blah, blah, blah. Invite friends for free coins, no thanks. And, you know, some other stuff which we'll delve into. And this is kind of, I guess the idea is to be a kind of a curated front end where it'll be a bunch of challenges that either I can do because it will give me a car just for that time, or that I can afford the car that it gives. And then there's really, really weird just internet stories about cars on there. So you see these things on the right hand side, that Flashback Friday, that just takes me to Hooniverse's website. It's kind of bizarre that they're all sort of shoehorned in there. I don't care. Just give me a kind of news tab. It's really bizarre. It's really, really, really bizarre. But anyway, let's go into I guess championships is the best way to go. So if I click on championships, this is going to give me just a list of everything that I haven't done yet. It says unplayed championships down there, recently played championships, and also popular things that, you know, other people in the community are playing, I guess. And new challenges are coming in over time. So you see there's a new challenge coming in 4 days. But some of them are behind levels there. So I'm, from a championship standpoint, pretty early on. So have I not played that? I haven't played that. Okay. So let's go look here. So you see there's actually kind of, as was the case with Project Gotham Racing, there's a decent amount of variety to what you're doing within the game. So there's all sorts of different kinds of challenges, hot laps there, drag races, score rushes. There's also the kind of, you might have seen in that intro video, the kind of zany Top Gear challenges, like stay out of sight of a helicopter or play football with cars or something like that. So there's a really good array of things to do. But we're going to go into this hot lap here. I've got one car, but what kind of car is this? Let me see. Right, okay. So yeah, each event is kind of sorted by class and things like that. So, you know, it will give you the car that's in your garage that works for you. But I only have 2 cars at the moment because the cars are pretty expensive when it comes to coins, and then you kind of go, well, yeah, those are the sort of fingers that free-to-play still has in this game. I can't afford a new one here. I can afford to upgrade the car that I have. So if I go in here, oh, some actual music. You start Gran Turismo style with some real clunkers. So this is my off-road vehicle of choice. But yeah, I mean, you can spend your coins on upgrade packs, but I kind of haven't really felt the need to yet, and I'm of the opinion I'd rather get new cars and actually not get these horrible clangy things to start off with. Repair, here's something interesting. That comes straight from the Real Racing 3 model, if you played that. And talking about how this was vilified as a free-to-play game, this was, I didn't play it as a free-to-play game, but apparently if you were kind of gold at how Real Racing 3 kind of holds its hands out and expects you to pay money or wait for timers, this stuff was really gross. Apparently you were rating for everything, and everything cost an awful lot of money. You know, when it was a free-to-play game. Now this kind of repair stuff feels, you know, kind of irrelevant and pointless. You do get your cars damaged, but they automatically upgrade over time, or you can spend these stars at the top. I've got 12,000 of them. You can spend these stars to fix the repairs instantly. But I think what they've done in making this a premium game is kept it the same, but given you so many stars at any one time that it renders that repair thing a pointless mechanic. You know, I've got 12,000 stars, and the most I've had to pay for repairs is 100. So basically that's how they've done it, and that's probably not the best way to do it. You know, it seems kind of, you know, it just kind of renders your mechanics pointless rather than changing the mechanics that shouldn't exist there anymore. It's the same thing with these boosts. I can choose one-use perks for the race ahead, either to increase acceleration, top speed, blah blah blah. I'm gonna, let's say, cornering speed, because it's gonna handle like a piece of crap. And so that cost me 250 stars, which probably would have been a big deal if I were playing a freemium game, but it seems just utterly pointless when I'm rolling in how many stars I get. So it just seems, yeah, a little bit strange. Let's get started here. So I get rewards and targets for getting stars. I also get rewards and in the form of stars for doing cool stuff like drifting, going through clean sections, overtaking. Basically, the stars are what kudos was in the Project Gotham games. So stars are in this game. So you're earning them all the time, which is fair enough. It just kind of means the dual currency system here feels really kind of, you know, it feels weird. I'm paying this much money. Why not just have kudos being the main currency to unlock everything, cars, events, and everything else, and leave the coins out of it, and then you have a decent amount of progression to the game. What kind of further confuses the system is that there's a mile system we'll see later on, which is basically like XP in the game, and that unlocks more stuff. So wow, so I'm not doing too well here, but I think I'm just about to finish that. So you see I dinged up my car, but no worries, it's not going to cost me anything to really make it better. So it's like, well, why have a car that you can ding up at that point? But yeah, there you go. So you also earn XP, which the XP translates into stars, and I also get coins at the point where I level up. But yeah, it's just the leveling. Oh, it's fairly decent. You do get a decent amount of rewards. You also get coin rewards for finishing a batch of challenges. It just feels that that stuff is really, really slow, but that's where your real mark of progression is, because you can only buy cars with coins. So now that I've played for about 2 or 3 hours here, I've only got 34 coins and I've only got 2 cars, and they're both shit. So it really kind of feels, I mean, obviously free-to-play versions of the game are going to be very, very sort of grindy because they want you to spend more money. But this, even though now it's premium and I've paid my 600 yen, I'm definitely not going to pay any more for this experience. It feels like it's still holding its hand out, it feels like it still wants me to spend more money. Let's try one more race in here. I've never played a score rush game, so let's see what that's like before we have a quick look at the multiplayer. Knock over as many boxes as you can against the clock. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of a very sort of Project Gotham style challenge. If you remember the cone challenges on the old Xbox games, kind of very similar to that. Basically, oh, and I forgot to repair my car. Never mind, shouldn't be a big deal. Basically, what we're doing in terms of handling here is Real Racing 3 was had by default auto acceleration. Here you have to accelerate yourself, even regardless of what driving aids you have on, regardless of what control setup you use. You have to accelerate with your right thumb, you have to brake with your left thumb, but there's a little bit more finesse to it than in a lot of driving aids on the iPhone. So I can, if I want, pull a handbrake turn by braking and then swiping up, and that yanks on the handbrake, which gets me a bit more drifting ability as I'm clattering off walls here. I think I wasn't really paying attention, but yeah, so I get stars knocked off my score for making collisions, and some game modes will actually dock you time or score for doing this. My problem with the handling model is that it feels like they've tried to translate a very Project Gotham-esque handling model onto a system that can't handle it, so to speak. So it's kind of slidey. Oh, I failed, screwed it up. Never mind. It's kind of drift heavy if you can get into that. But I still haven't played a racing game on the iPhone that did drifting in a convincing way. Really, because it needs not just manual acceleration, it needs analog acceleration and analog braking in order to pull it off right. So, I always feel the joys of Project Gotham Racing were when you could set up your car into a turn well enough that you didn't have to touch the steering, pretty much. You could control it just with this really delicate balancing of the accelerator and the brake, and it just felt so good making those corners in PGR. Whereas here, there isn't that fine control, so it never feels like your car's really dialed into the corners or anything that you're doing quite. So, if it's a choice between this kind of pseudo-arcadey style and the faux simulation of Real Racing 3, I think Real Racing 3 kind of handles better, because I think it's kind of smarter about, I guess, kind of kludging and simulating analog acceleration with its sort of automatic acceleration and manual braking that it does. It's slightly more convincing. So let's have a look at a couple more things. There's daily challenges and multiplayer, what makes up the rest of the game here. And let's see, those can be drift challenges, like down in the bottom left, that Camaro Rush, which is, I mean, if you've seen any kind of drift games on iOS in particular, then you know what that is. Let's go for this one, because I haven't done it. And, yes, Race Face. Yeah, this is interesting. Because, oh no, I can't do this challenge because I can't afford it. Well, there you go. That kind of nullifies the thing of the front page showing you events that you can get into easy. That's just dumb. Oh well, let's do this dust challenge. Yeah, Race Face is a thing. As I repair my car, you see, I banged my car up hugely, but it didn't cost very much. Yeah, Race Face is the, I don't know, lingering after effects of Rainbow Six Vegas years and years ago, where you could take a picture and then have it mapped onto your avatar. And this game does that to hilarious effect, as I think we'll see pretty soon. I guess it's open to abuse, but I haven't seen any literal dickheads on 2K Drive quite yet. So the deal is here, this is a multiplayer challenge, but it's all based on beating target times, and you have ghosts of your nearest rival on the high score. So it's all asymmetric multiplayer, but not quite in the solid sense that Real Racing 3 had with its kind of phony real driver AI or whatever it was called. So I'm gonna boost and cheat a little bit there. I guess again that mechanic was probably a sort of, I don't know, pay to win kind of mechanic before, and now it just seems like, you know, it's like, why is it there? It's kind of, I don't know, I suppose it's kind of, you could view it as the gems in fighting games, you know, pick the one that most fits you. And it's really the dust tracks here that make the game look really bad. The frame rate, I think, is a little bit smoother than what you're seeing on the screen here, but nevertheless, I've always felt playing these dust sections that this probably would be an excellent showcase for 3DFX cards in 1997. You know, it's like they're kind of fairly high res but really low poly, and they just, yeah, parts of the game just really don't look right. But that said, there is that you know, a few moments of, you just sneaked around that corner, that felt good. There are these kind of moments as, wow, screwed that up. There you go. There are these kind of moments where you are kind of having a lot of fun, and there is some satisfaction to the handling model, albeit not as much as in the original Project Gotham Racing games, but there is some of that joy to be found, and it's nice that it kind of, I guess, critiques you in a way but rewards you in a way for everything. It's just, oh, you pulled off a nice drift, you got around that corner nicely. It's keeping you in that Skinner box by constantly having you earn stars. I'd just like to be able to spend those stars in a more sensible way than in this kind of cludged, oh screw it, let's ditch this freemium model way that they've actually come up with. So I've trounced this entry-level guy. That looks like, are you gonna see my driver tar? Oh, I'm sorry, you can't. Oh, there I am. Whoa. I think that was just, yeah, looking good. Whoever thought that was a good idea? Not sure. Yay! I got a few coins there. And it's happening okay. I think the game might crash. Oh no, it's just telling me to rate the game later, please. Okay. Oh my goodness, and it asks you twice, just in case. I think you really meant to. Yeah, So that kind of stuff is pretty cool. There's a few glitches, I think, just kind of early on. This only launched worldwide on Thursday, Friday. Um, and usually it's supposed to show you your sort of nearest to your position leaderboards here, and show your silly drive avatar and show who your closest rival is. But it's not for whatever reason, so sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But I mean, that is essentially the game. There's also, hang on, if we go over here, there's also this mode called Road Trip, which have kind of extra special challenges that usually let you try a car kind of long before you would ordinarily unlock it. So that's pretty cool. So those are again kind of more multiplayer events. There's also the chance to, wow, take your car and take a in-game picture of it and save it to your camera roll, even though the graphics aren't that great. If you really wanted to. What the heck? What the heckings? This is what? It's just trying to grab something that's not there now. The kind of frustrating thing about this is that if you just scroll to the top of the menu as you ordinarily would, it will suddenly, rather than just pinging back off the top, it will go, oh, you wanted to refresh stuff. And it'll spend forever. Yeah, apparently I can't even grab that stuff. So let's... Hey, there we go. Oh no! Road trip mode is not working, folks. I was going to show you the kind of cool drag race mode there, but it's not happening because I accidentally tried to refresh the page and it can't grab any more articles or whatever it's called. But there was actually, believe me, a pretty cool thing there where you're supposed to take the land speed record holding car, like a jet propelled thing, and take it down 2 runs of the Utah salt flats. Which was kind of fun, I thought at the time. But can't play that anymore. Cheers, 2K Drive. So yeah, I mean, this is just really a victim of kind of just confusion over its model, and the fact that this game was built from the outset as a free-to-play model, was criminally cash grabbing, was rightly slammed, but then in changing it to a premium model, they just kind of they didn't know how to do that, it seems, in an effective manner. It just kind of, it feels now that, you know, I'm earning stars at such a rate that repairs aren't an issue, and that you know, getting boosts for the next race isn't an issue. I have this huge overabundance of stars, but stars don't mean anything. They've just broken the economy of the game rather than rethinking the features here. And I'm still earning coins at such a slow rate that 9 levels into the game and I'm doing pretty well. It's all I can get are these kind of, I don't know, family cars and SUVs. Now finally I can get a Ford Focus. You know, it kind of feels that this is ludicrously grindy. Of course, I can spend another 850 yen and get all of those cars, which look great, don't they? Those exciting sports cars, plus 100 coins and 5,000 stars and a racing suit for my drive avatar. And that costs 850 yen on top of the 600 yen that I've already paid. I don't know whether that 850 is any cheaper or more expensive than it was when it was freemium, but I just kind of think not enough thought went into this that I bet it probably isn't. It was always 850 yen. So, I mean, it's just, as bad as free-to-play models sometimes are, suddenly having to change what your game is about makes it all the worse. And yeah, this is a game that I think has its moments. I don't think it's as well put together a package as Real Racing 3 is, but it's got a lot of variety, and it has at times that kind of bizarre creations magic. It's just that it's crippled by its premium model rather than crippled by its free-to-play model, and it's weirdly structured and in a lot of ways kind of half-assed and slapdash. So it's a real shame. But there'll be more on 2K Drive, including a full written review in due course. But in the meantime, for more on this and other games, head on over to wheredoesgodzillapoop.com. Thanks for watching.